the audience, dear ladies and gentlemen. Today we are happy to welcome Mr. Ulrich Wiedemund, Group Sales Director of Bilstein Group. Hello, Ulrich. How are you?
This is really a good question, actually. Personally, I should say I'm very well, actually. I am now a grandfather, fourth time since Monday. So, yes.
You didn't tell me that before.
Well, it was not a secret. But anyway, just to complete it, yes, I'm personally very happy. Obviously, when I see, the world today, actually, I'm concerned. But this is maybe another topic.
But with 45 years of age, already the fourth time grandfather, not so bad.
Yeah, thank you for the flowers. Yeah, I would wish 45, then, we have more years actually in the automotive to see the changes coming. But at the end of the day, you are right, I still feel young. Let's hope for the best.
Let's come back to serious. Let's start with our small interview, and I really appreciate that they have accepted our invitation here.
A pleasure.
So when I look to the figures and the development between the brands of Bilstein Group and the global one aftermarket over the last years, we increased every year and always significant, always now in the pandemic. When I look to the development of 2021, we are again growing over 30%. Why? What are the reasons for this?
Yeah, this is really a good question. And admittingly saying, we are really growing with you, but we are growing also with other customers of the Bilstein Group. And I believe the main reason is availability. It's not a coincidence that we have some years ago invested into a new warehouse. We have decided that we wanted to put a new warehouse actually near to our first facility in the city of Ennepetal. Now this warehouse is ready. And availability comes from having goods in stock. And this is what we have done.
Okay. So that means you have invested a whole full of money to build up a complete new structure logistic-wise. So I personally know your facility in Ennepetal, but I've also heard you have built up a completely new warehouse in Gelsenkirchen, right?
Yeah, this is true.
Okay.
Yes, but in order to actually do that and to somehow save the business in this transition period, we have worked with more than 4 third-party logistics, which not only cost a lot of money, but also created some hiccups actually internally in our supply chain, besides the hiccups which we have generally in the supply chain worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
This is hopefully now coming to an end because Gelsenkirchen has started now. And this warehouse is a complementary warehouse to Ennepetal. So it's not the new warehouse, it's a second large warehouse in the Bilstein Group in Germany.
Okay, I see. That's very interesting to realize that. And especially within these times of a pandemic, and now, and we're going to talk about this topic later on, also the war that we have unfortunately in front of us, or we have not in front of us, we have actually now in the Ukraine, in Europe. Really to take a strategic decision like this, to invest millions of euros to build up a complete new possibility in logistics, that is for me a clear signal towards the market, towards the independent garages. Is this what you would like to show to the market?
Yeah, I think this anticipation is correct. We have foreseen that we as a Bilstein Group can grow. Generally, I have to say we are maybe different from many other companions in our environment because we are an independent company and we are run by the owners. So our investment actually is geared for the independent aftermarket. It's for the aftermarket in our section, which is mainly automotive and the truck parts. And it must serve the independent workshops. That is our business. And if we do not have parts available, what can we sell and what can the distributor sell? Yeah. So availability to us is key. And I would like to add something actually to this conversation. Many of our colleagues, I would say, they rather save money. We have decided some time ago to invest. 120 million is a new investment. It's the largest investment within the Bilstein Group ever since. And it is for good reasons. And the reason is serving the customers.
Okay. So a clear statement and commitment for the independent aftermarket. But let's stay within the context of availability. So we should have learned, I have to say, within the last 2 years of pandemic, that we are faced with shortages linked to non-availability of products coming from Far East, from Asia. We have seen the troubles of energy issues in China, that they have just a production line by 20% and not by 100% as had foreseen. And that has also faced us with enormous problems within the supply chain in combination with the ships and all the containers, the increasing prices and so on. What do you think? Shouldn't we have a learning to ask some of our production lines to come back to the point of sales, to Europe, where we have really the need for these goods? What do you think about this?
This is a tough question, actually.
I hope so.
This is really a tough question. No, I don't think so. If you ask me, I would love to say that we can produce more in Europe and become more independent to other markets, such as the Asian markets, not only to name one. But I think the world is so global, actually, and I'm a true global, how can I put that, person. You know, I like the freedom, actually, in the world, if we have it, whenever, and I like global trading. So in this respect, I believe bringing things back actually to Europe or everything is not possible. I think there's not even a chance actually that it becomes price-worthy, regardless of the sources or resources which we have here for production. So I believe actually living in a global environment, we have to respect actually that the intertrading in our world is of importance, because I believe it actually generates also freedom. And in this respect, I truly believe that we should, how can I say, remain in the way we are doing business today, wherever the parts are coming from. May it be Europe, may it be Asia, may it be, I don't know, even South Africa or the Latin American countries.
Okay, there's a clear statement, and I think there's no word to add to your statement here. And we will see, and I really actually cross my fingers that your statement is right. So nobody would like to see further troubles coming up from these kind of complications that we have been faced within the last 2 or 3 years.
If I may add something, Marcus, water finds its way, actually, and we are businessmen. So at the end of the day, if we see that there is something which hurts our business for good reasons, and we can, talk about, I don't know, the brake discs, for example. This is a story we all know. Obviously, it is clear there will be other business people around the world who will take advantage for this. They will understand, that maybe the business they have lost over years is coming back for good reasons, because of exactly that what you have been asking for in the beginning. This will happen, but it doesn't need regulations. It will happen anyway, because business is business. And the clever ones are taking advantage of this, and I think we should support them. And this is, I think, what it is all about at the end.
Honestly, I like your point of view. Thank you for these clear words within this perspective. Unfortunately, we have to also talk about a very sad situation. Nobody expected a war in Europe. How does the Bilstein Group assess the situation due to the current?
This is it's difficult, really, actually, to answer to this, because I cannot only answer this as Ulrich Wiedemund, the group sales director of the Bilstein Group. I'm a human being, and in my life, actually, I never believed that there will be a pandemic, and I never believed that there will be a war in Europe. I couldn't believe it. We are raising our children, actually, to be European, to be open-minded, actually. and then something is happening, which even the 10 days, the 5 days before it all started on the 24th of February, I was shocked, and I'm still shocked actually that this is a 2-day part of our life, and we are monitoring the devastation which is ongoing and the horrible situation. As a Bilstein Group, quite honestly, it's relatively easy. We are losing business, simply as it is. And we are losing millions. The sanctions are in place. We are, of course, following the sanctions. Russia, we are not supplying anymore into Ukraine and Belarus, as you know. It's not so easy, but nevertheless, even if business comes back because of the war will end eventually, the business will not be there as it was. It will never be the same. This is my personal opinion. So what do we have to do in between? We have to make sure that our business is still growing, because we are aiming for a 1 billion euro turnover in the next years to come. And we are losing probably 80 million, today, to put a figure out. And we are talking about 3 countries here, not to be misunderstood.
Just to ask a question in between, what is the current turnover of the Bilstein Group?
820 million. And we grew from 690 in the year 20 to 820 in the year 2021.
Wow.
And we were planning this year to go close to 900. This will be not possible, to tell you the truth. But nevertheless, what is a company doing, obviously? And I'm not telling anything secret, you have resources, you have even financial resources, and your plans must change. Even though that for the very moment we are looking from basically 1 month to the next, because we don't know what's coming. But we need, to repeat myself, how can I say? We need to make sure that our customers are well served. The ones who have money, the ones who can pay, the ones who can import, and I'm talking about not the Eastern countries, not Russia and the rest. I'm talking about all of the other countries. So for the very moment, if that makes sense to you, our availability is going up. Because we have planned, for growth also in these countries. This growth is not coming. So the beneficiary is the other customer, whoever is out there. And as the supply chain hiccups are not anymore a pandemic reason, it's more the reason of the war now, with raw material and whatever actually else pays into that, availability is even more key in the future. Luckily, we are ready for this. It's not a coincidence, but it looks like a coincidence. We have increased our warehouse capacity, as we discussed, but we have also increased the availability on parts, because we increased inventory from 80 million to 150 million in the last 2 years.
Very significant.
Yeah. And why we are doing it? We want to get the business which is out there. And we want to serve our customers, because our company is dedicated to fulfill customers' requirements. We are no angels. We have our, how can I say, challenges, but what we want is total customer satisfaction, and it starts with availability.
Okay. And therefore, you are driving actually 3 brands underneath the Bilstein Group brand. That's right? Yeah. Can you please tell me, I'm pretty sure you guys, the Bilstein Group and the brands, but I think we have here the group sales director with us, and he should tell a little bit more about the 3 different brands of the Bilstein Group.
Yeah, in a nutshell, Phoebe is, of course, the primary and dominating brand. It's basically the all-makes brand for everything in the range of the automotive spare parts, whether it's truck or car, even agriculture today, and we are slowly also moving into other segments, which are when mobility is concerned, let's say. So Phoebe, the all-makes brand, Blueprint is still the Asian brand. The domination is on Asian parts. This is the brand competence. But however, we also use the Blueprint brand for clutches, for filters, and for brakes as an all-makes brand in order to complement business in the automotive section, which in many countries, unfortunately, I would say, is, how can I say, is accepting more than one brand, because we cannot distribute to everyone worldwide. We need other brands, our own brands, in order to complement our business. And Swag, actually, we are just on the way to relaunching Swag. It will be called the Vital line. It is a shrinked range, but a very important range actually everybody needs. But Swag and Blueprint basically are the brands who can be then compared with Febi, who caters for everything. So for our customers, they can choose if they want, or we help them to choose. But what we want, obviously, is availability, is parts in the box, actually, and so that the customer has a profitable business. And an over-distribution for us is not an option.
Yep.
Therefore, 2 or 3 brands actually are available to our worldwide customers.
Yeah, perfect. Very good news, if I can summarize it like this. And it also fits to that what is Wheelchair Group standing for. It's always a clever and innovating company, and we all in the market know that you have always something in your pocket. I can ask you, is there something new from your marketing side?
Well, on the marketing side, actually, you know that this is always tough because marketing actually is an element either on the product side or on the branding side. Mm-hmm. We have to do both because with a variety of over 60,000 articles, obviously, it is sometimes hard just to stick on one article or one product group. So the brand actually is more important because the brand carries an image, and our customers should and must believe in the quality which the brand actually kind of distributes with its name. Saying this, our biggest line, and I think we are one of the leaders in this field, is steering and suspension. Mm-hmm. And we talk about steering and suspension. The new word for suspension in terms of rubber to metal is NVH, noise, vibration, harshness. So we are coming actually out with a campaign on steering and suspension, which is a very new one, a very interesting one, and I think you all can look forward to it, because I believe it is different, and that's what we want to be.
Okay.
It is not only product related, it's a bit emotional, but you judge. This is what actually we are coming up with. Besides this, we are working on a fluid campaign.
Sorry to interrupt you. Do we have already a starting point? Is it already foreseen that you will come up with, let me say, in the middle of this year?
Yeah, it's I think scheduled for the end. I mean, this last quarter of the year, probably Automechanica around. That's what we are looking for. But right now we are monitoring the general situation because another thing we have worked for was fluids. And we still believe that we should go actually in a campaign with fluids. But on the other hand, you know what the fluid situation is like. And when we talk about fluid, it's about oil, it's about all of the additives and so on. So it will be interesting actually to talk with the marketing guys and with the customers how to launch it correctly and what is a good timing.
Okay.
Besides this, Swag Vital line is to come and kind of relaunch of the Blueprint brand again. So.
Okay.
But other than that, there's always something going on regionally in the field, actually, in the individual regions. But this is on a level, actually, of country, customer, and region.
Okay, I see. Okay. So then I know you as a very open-minded person, always open with your point of view, with your perspective. And I really account on the fact, if I ask you now the question of e-mobility or even e-fuels, what is your meaning about this and the impact of the especially independent aftermarket of today? So it's really a question which is often asked within some discussion rounds. But here with you, I'm more than sure that we will get a more than clear state of your view.
Yeah. To simplify it, we are spare part guys. We are parts people. Mm-hmm. So what we are looking for is to sell parts. And even in an electric or a hybrid car or whatever actually comes, still, has 4 wheels eventually, or 3 or 2 or 1 on the street. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they have suspension, they have brakes, and we can discuss whether brake is an option for the future or not. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, Parts eventually will change, but this is what we have done and can do because we are not a technology leader, and therefore we have the freedom basically, to understand what is the demand of the customer. Mm-hmm. The customer at the end of the day, it is you, of course, and your members, but the workshop at the end, they need to repair cars. And because they need to repair cars, they need to have parts for this. Yeah, and these parts, actually, we make them available. And this is what we can do. So I'm not concerned about e-mobility. E-mobility actually will come. This goes without saying. You cannot deny it. And whether it comes, more heavy in 10 or 15 or 20 years, it depends on the world regions and it depends on the infrastructure, because at the end, you need to supply energy to these cars. And regardless of e-fuel or electricity or whatever it will be used, there eventually, I would say for sure, will be an electric engine inside, driven by what? But it will be, with 4 wheels on the street. So suspension parts and many other parts, and probably more new parts will come. We already have actually more than 2,000 parts for hybrids and e-cars, even for Teslas now. Yeah. So we can see, and actually we work very closely together with repair shops who are concentrating on this to understand, is there a change actually in wear and tear? Mm-hmm. And yeah, we can see that the Tesla control arms, are wearing much faster than a Volkswagen one. Yeah. For reasons which somebody else can explain. So I'm concerned? No, I'm not concerned. First of all, the business is now, and we want to do the business now. Mm-hmm. We are not the ones actually who will think about what eventually will come, because we want to get the business today, and we can only invite everybody, the audience here actually, to think that besides that you have to have one eye on today's business. Yes, please monitor what's coming. But the business is now, so let's grab it actually before others are taking it.
And the audience is exactly that what I have expected. And that's exactly, from my point of view, also one of the reasons why the Bilstein Group is so successful on the market. You are always at the point facing the problem or facing the business, and take it. So I think it has been quite is not a good word, a very interesting interview with Ulrich Wiedemund, the 4th-time grandfather. You have to remember that.
Happy grandfather. Yeah.
Happy grandfather. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Uli, to have you here. I hope to see you next time for another discussion. I would be happy to do so. And safe and good trip back home.
Thank you very much, Marcus. It's a pleasure to be here. You know it. We know each other for long, and we appreciate actually if we can contribute to something you're trying out new, actually, which we believe will be successful. So we are available whenever you want us.